Team GB face uphill task for four-man bobsleigh medal. Team GB face an uphill task to win an Olympic medal in the four-man bobsleigh as they sit seventh at the halfway point in a race where three teams crashed. Pilot Brad Hall had showcased why the British team are medal contenders in Cortina with a brilliant first run of 54.39 seconds, which placed them third. But he was left looking stunned and emotional after they dropped off the pace in the second, losing 4 places in the standings. They now sit 0.23 seconds off the bronze medal position before Sunday's podium-deciding heats. "I'm a bit lost for words, to be honest," Hall told BBC Sport. "We had a really good first run, and the second run just got away from us, and I honestly don't really know where. It felt like a nice run to me, but we bled some time." The 3 German teams remain the ones to beat, and they occupy the top 3 spots with Johannes Lochner, who won two-man gold earlier this week, leading the charge with an overall time of 1:48:61. There was a long delay to competition at the Cortina sliding track after Austria suffered a crash during Heat 2, with one of the athletes treated for a lengthy period on the ice before being stretchered off. GB's Greg Crackett said Austrian pilot Jacob Mandelbauer had gone to hospital but was moving and seemed to be all right. Action resumed after about a 20-minute delay, but with the track now slower because of the rising temperature, the British team were unable to find the speed of their first run and currently sit on 1:49:43. Under the pale winter sky of Cortina d'Ampezzo, the ice told 2 different stories for Team GB. In the first, there was poetry. Brad Hall's sled did not so much descend the track as slice through it. The steel runners hummed, the corners obeyed, and the clock blinked back a dazzling 54.39 seconds. For a fleeting, electric moment, the British four-man crew stood third, nestled among giants, daring to believe. Gloves thumped the sled. Fists punched the alpine air. In that instant, history felt close enough to touch. In the second story, the ice bit back. By the halfway mark of the Olympic four-man bobsleigh, Team GB sit 7th, 0.23 seconds off bronze. In bobsleigh terms, that is the width of a breath, the blink of an eye, the faintest tremor in a steering line. Yet it is also an uphill climb against gravity's unforgiving arithmetic. "I'm a bit lost for words," Hall admitted afterward, the emotion flickering across his face. The second run had felt clean. No obvious skid, no jarring mistake. And yet the clock disagreed. 55.04 seconds, only the 12th fastest of the heat. 4 places slipped away, as if swallowed by the mountain itself. Above them, the German machine rolls on. 3 sleds. 3 podium places. Clinical, relentless, precise. At the front stands Johannes Lochner, already crowned in the two-man earlier in the games, guiding his crew with the assurance of a man fluent in ice. Germany's dominance is no accident. It is culture, infrastructure, repetition carved into frozen walls over generations. But medals are not awarded for reputation. They are decided in the margins, those fragile, flickering margins where confidence can surge or splinter. The drama of the day was not confined to timesheets. A long, uneasy silence settled over the track when Austria crashed in Heat 2. For 20 minutes, competition paused as medics tended to the stricken athlete. The sport's beauty, its speed, its choreography, gave way to its danger. Ice is indifferent. It does not distinguish between favorite and outsider. When racing resumed, the temperature had risen. The track slowed. Conditions shifted. Bobsleigh is a science experiment conducted at 80 miles per hour. A degree of warmth can rewrite outcomes. The British sled, so sharp and alive in Run 1, could not rediscover that earlier bite. France crashed. Trinidad and Tobago crashed too, piloted by Axel Brown, the Harrogate-born driver chasing his own Olympic story. Both crews walked away. Relief rippled through the finish area. Survival, first. Medals, second. For Hall, this moment is layered with history. He finished 12th in the two-man earlier in the week, respectable, but not the statement he craved. For years ago in Beijing, his four-man crew took 6th. Close enough to glimpse the podium, far enough to feel its absence. Since then, the trajectory has bent upward. Hall has become the most decorated British men's pilot in World Cup history, collecting 30 race medals. In 2023, he steered Britain to a World Championship silver, the nation's first in the event since 1939. That breakthrough came months after a landmark European title in Altenburg, another first. For a program once stripped of funding after the disappointment of Pyeongchang 2018, it was vindication on ice. Success brought belief. Belief brought backing. UK's sport restored its investment. And in the quiet corners of push tracks and weight rooms, a generation began to feel that British bobsleigh was not just surviving, it was building. Yet Olympic ice is a different beast. Team GB have not won an Olympic bobsleigh medal since Sochi, 12 years ago, when the four-man crew claimed bronze. That medal now feels like both inspiration and burden. The past whispers, "It can be done." The present demands, "Prove it again." What makes this seventh place standing so tantalizing is its proximity. 0.23 seconds. In sliding sport, that is recoverable. A sharper line through a mid-track curve. A braver entry into the labyrinth. A cleaner exit that carries speed like a secret into the straight. 2 runs remain. 2 chances to write over the doubt. Bobsleigh is often described as controlled chaos. 4 athletes sprinting in perfect harmony. A synchronized leap into a carbon fiber shell. Then silence, except for the rattle of ice and the pilot's instinctive corrections. Every hundredth of a second is earned in unseen hours, in sled maintenance, in start drills, in video analysis of corners that blur to the untrained eye. Hall's first run proved they belong. It was not luck. It was craft. The second run, mysterious and costly, is the riddle they must now solve overnight. Elsewhere on the track, British hopes flicker in other events. Adele Nicol and Ashley Nelson sit 21st at the halfway stage of the two-woman competition, chasing improvement in their own battle against time. The games do not pause for disappointment. They demand resilience. Sunday's final heats will not care about narrative. They will not reward past medals or funding decisions or emotional interviews. They will measure only velocity and precision. And yet, sport is more than measurement. It is the sight of a pilot staring at the scoreboard, stunned but unbroken. It is teammates who still believe, who know that 2 runs can redefine a fortnight of effort. It is a nation that has tasted glory before and understands how thin the line is between heartbreak and history. The mountain in Cortina is steep. Germany stands firm. The ice is unpredictable. But 0.23 seconds is not a chasm. It is an invitation. If Team GB can rediscover the rhythm of that first run, if the sled once again sings instead of scrapes, the story beneath the alpine sky may yet shift. France and Trinidad and Tobago, piloted by Harrogate-born Axel Brown, also suffered crashes, but both crews walked away from the sleds.